Hey guys, it's Jessica. I wanted to come on here and share something that stood out to me this week in a book I was reading. Wanted to give y'all also a little preview of my house and my backyard. It's a beautiful day. But I'm reading the book Soundtracks by Jon Acuff. And what I know is that to me, to have a full transformation and to truly get results in your life, whether it's in your health or fitness, you have to include your mind in the equation, because I feel like we can be 100% our biggest obstacles, our biggest roadblocks, our biggest hindrance to success. You know, whether you struggle with overthinking or being overwhelmed or perfectionism or just self-doubt, negative self-talk, all of those things are things that come from within us. So already when I heard the topic, I was excited to read this book. I'm also a fan of Jon Acuff. He has, to me, a very dry sense of humor that I enjoy. I don't know if he would call it dry. I don't know what the other word would be for it. But to me, he's very easy to listen to and learn from. I also love his book, Start and Finish. Those are two other books. But there were 2 points in this book that I wanted to come tell you. So I'm making sure I don't fall down these steps. Here's our little hand chairs. They came with the house, but I was really excited because I like them. So 2 things. First, he talked about kind of negative self-talk. You know, it's about creating the soundtrack that you want to play for your life, not the one that you might currently be playing. And how you have to be mindful, you have to be intentional, and you have to kind of change, you know, perhaps what's ingrained in you. But what he compared it to, because of course I've heard that before. I've studied affirmations, and I do believe that, you know, what you tell yourself is super important. But he talks about when you are a fan of a sports team. So whether this is you or you know someone, I feel like it will apply to you either way. You're either a diehard fan, like if I say who's your team, you immediately know you're passionate, all of those things. Or maybe you know someone, if I said like who's the most diehard sports fan you know. So when I used to wait tables, I worked with a guy named Richard. Richard was without a doubt the biggest diehard fan that I ever knew. He was a fan of the Arkansas Razorbacks, and I'm telling you, it was intense. Like, he loved the Razorbacks so much that if it was in the middle of our shift while we're working and they were playing maybe a game in the bar, if they were to be losing or to lose, I mean, it was kind of like, it was scary. We would have to check on Richard. We would have to make sure Richard was going to make it to the shift. He was a diehard fan. If you were to say something bad about the Razorbacks, you were dead to him, probably forever. Like, forgiveness was not on the table. Apologies did not matter. He was a diehard fan. And so in this book, Jon Acuff makes the comparison to our own self-talk. What if we treated ourselves like our favorite sports team, or like Richard's Razorbacks? If I was so on my own team that I wouldn't allow anything negative to be said about me, I wouldn't stand for anything but 100% support, how different could my life be? Because I would no longer be one of my biggest kind of enemies, right? So I thought that was such a good example to kind of do the self-check and ask yourself, are you treating yourself like you would treat your favorite sports team, or like the person that you know would? Because when you kind of make that tweak, then you're not going to stand for the stuff that you're saying to yourself every day. You're not going to stand for the statements that are actually derailing and sabotaging your results, and we're doing it to ourselves. So I really love that analogy, because I haven't really heard it put in that way, but I could definitely think about what would Richard do in this scenario if it related to the Razorbacks. And, you know, in those moments where I'm being really hard on myself, or where I'm giving myself such a hard time, or just defeating myself before I ever get started in any single scenario, what if instead I acted that way? And then second was a quote that said, I'm going to probably completely butcher it, but it was something like, soundtracks, you know, positive soundtracks without action are just fortune cookies. So if you maybe know what to do, or you know the right thing, or you know how you should be thinking, or whatever it is, if you aren't aligning it with action, it's just a fortune cookie. And I mean, you guys, fortune cookies are kind of wasted calories. We don't want fortune cookies. We want, you know, the creme brulee cheesecake, right? If we're going to eat, we want it to be good. So we've got to put the stuff into action. We can't just know, oh, I need to think positive. You know, that's like a very cliche thing in this day and age as well. Positive thinking, be positive, think positive, no negative self-talk. We've got to put it into action. We've got to actually catch ourselves when we're saying the things that are going to derail us from who we want to become, where we want to go, and what we want to do. And we've got to implement it. We've got to catch it. We've got to flip it. And it's going to feel crazy at first, just like in this book. You're going to feel a little uncomfortable when all of a sudden you're like used to saying you suck, and all of a sudden you're saying you're awesome or you can do this. But the more you do it, the more it will become second nature. And that's what we have to do. Sometimes we have to undo this nature that's been put inside of us, that's been ingrained in us pretty much our entire lives. And that can't just be undone in a second. It takes intentional, focused effort, but it's possible. And I hope that you take it to heart and that you apply it, because the only way you get to me real, sustainable, long-lasting results is including your mind in the process. You can change your body. How many people lose even like 100 pounds, yet they still feel like that big person in their skin, or they still feel self-conscious? Or how many people are doing all the things, but they feel unaccomplished? They feel undeserving. They feel unworthy. That's why we have to include our mind in the process and spend as much intentional effort and energy on making sure that our mind, not just our body, not just our meal planning, but all of it is aligning with where we want to go and who we want to be. All right, you guys, that's my little rant for today. But you should probably get that book, Soundtracks by Jon Acuff. If you go to my Instagram, I think I have it linked somewhere in my profile, but I'll drop it there for sure. And if you ever need help getting started on your journey of getting fit from the inside out, it's what I believe in, and I would love to help you. Shoot me an email, jessicabelzernelsonfitness@gmail.com, or shoot me a message wherever you're watching this video. All right, you guys, have a good day.